my name is Elena Berman. I'm the director of the Nelly Berman School of Music. We're located in a beautiful green Victorian building on Lancaster Avenue in Haverford, across from Haverford School for Boys, when there are lots and lots of kids playing soccer and lacrosse, and they scream very, very loudly, and we hear them screaming, but they hear us playing instruments. And today I have a group of really, really wonderful young musicians who are here with me at the Mainline Network TV, and we thank them very much for hosting us, and we thank their wonderful person here, Kevin, who organized this. And I wanted for our audiences throughout Radnor and Lower Merion to find out the treasures that we have here of the young students who might not do sports like majority of young people of their age, but they do classical music to the level that some might consider to be professional. And let's find out about their interests, about how they started playing an instrument, what they think about music, what their practicing habits are. And the most important thing that I wanted to start with and that we can talk about is that those 5 students here today are the 5 winners of a Nelly Berman School Concerto Competition. It was a competition in January, and their prize is to play with Ambler Symphony Orchestra. The concert is going to take place on Sunday, June 4th at the Church of the Redeemer and at 6:30 p.m. And do come. It's quite interesting to see these young people play on such a high level, and children who love classical music and adults who love classical music. It's a wonderful support for young people whose passion is music. So let's start and talk to each of them, and I will ask them several questions, and hopefully you will enjoy it. The first person I would like to interview is Ian Sun. He's Nelly Berman School's graduating senior this year, and he will be playing not only on Sunday, June 4th at the Church of the Redeemer, playing his beautiful Chopin concerto, but also he will be playing a solo recital, about an hour of music, on Sunday, June 11th at St. Luke's Church. So what I would like to ask Ian is several questions, but let's start with the first question, which is how old you were when you started playing piano, and do you think that you have changed over the years now that as a child starting piano to now graduating from school? What is the difference, you think, in your attitude towards music from the time being a child and now pretty much almost an adult? What do you think?
So I'm 18 and I started playing piano when I was 5. And funny story, when I first played the piano, I got the idea of playing a piano when I was looking at a computer connector. Mm-hmm. And from then, I've actually started to appreciate the piano as an instrument, not just like looking like a USB connector of some sort. Mm-hmm. And from then on, I've grown to cherish music, admire music. It's been a way for me to express my feelings, my emotions, and what I'm going through. Mm.
Do you think that you have sacrificed certain things in your life with school friends, in any case, that you think you regret, or you think there are no regrets about having to practice a lot?
So I think my sacrifice doesn't come in forms of like having to take time off to practice, but rather in the kinds of music I like, because I like classical music a lot. Not many people in this country like classical music as much as I do.
That's interesting.
Which actually makes me rather alone with that kind of niche interest.
Well, not really alone. Look, you're surrounded. You're surrounded by other students.
Besides the 5 of you, I still think there's not much people who like classical music that much.
I think that there are, just that we need to find them, and we need them to come to listen to you and get inspired by you, by your playing. Okay, let's ask Sasha. This is Sasha. You can introduce yourself and how old you are, how old you were when you started playing the instrument, what school you go to. Let's start with that.
Okay. I'm a junior at Lower Merion High School. I'm currently 16, and I think I started playing piano when I was 5, so it's been 11 years. And I think I started at Nelly Berman when I was 11, so 5 years at Nelly Berman. And it's definitely changed a lot, mostly because like when I first started playing, it was basically just my parents making me do it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
You didn't want to play the piano at that time?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of times when I like really didn't want to practice.
So what did your parents do, for example, to make you practice?
They just made me practice.
Were you upset with your parents at that time?
Yeah, a little bit.
You were?
Yeah. But now,
How old were you when you stopped being upset with your parents making you practice?
I don't know, probably like 10, about, yeah.
So what happened at 10, for example?
I'm not sure. I think I just started appreciating the music more, especially since like the pieces I was playing were like much more interesting compared to like the more basic pieces. So and that also like got me interested in listening to classical music. So I ended up being a lot more interested in exploring classical music outside of practicing, which made it more enjoyable to actually practice.
How would you explore it? By listening to music, by going to concerts?
Yeah, both of those. Yeah.
Do you feel that you had to make sacrifices, and do you regret the sacrifices, or you think that you sort of profited from everything that you had to do musically?
It's definitely a big advantage to have done music. I'm definitely grateful that my parents made me do it because it taught me a lot of discipline with learning how to practice every day, even if I don't feel like it sometimes. And, you know, I actually do a lot of things outside of music. I play a sport, so I'm a swimmer, and I also do Science Olympiad and a lot of clubs at school. So
that's quite time consuming. To swim, it's very time consuming. Science Olympiad, because it's not just activity, a 1 hour activity, it requires a lot of preparation. How much time? How do you balance your schedule?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard, but like sometimes during the week, I can't practice piano as much as I want to. So I'll have to do more on the weekend or on days when I don't have any swimming, stuff like that. But I think I can figure it out.
You're very positive. How many hours do you think you practice? Approximately. I know that every day might be different depending on your other activities.
Yeah, I'd say
average.
It's like maybe an hour every day.
That's all you do. And you play so incredibly well. Can you imagine you would be a world performer? Really?
Yeah, I don't really have time for anything else. But I wish I could practice more.
How incredible. But it's very impressive so you play so beautifully. So you're just very focused. For that 1 hour, your brain is like zeroes in on what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, this is Apollo. This is Sasha's brother. And tell us how old you are, how old you were when you started playing the cello. And was cello your first instrument?
Yeah.
Who chose to play cello?
I think it was me, because my cousin played the cello for a little while, and then I thought that was cool.
Oh.
So.
How was it? An older cousin or younger cousin? Older?
Yeah, he's about the age of Sasha.
Oh, and you were inspired by his playing? Does he still play the cello?
I don't think so.
So you were the one that was inspired, and you took off.
Yeah.
So you chose it and you wanted to play it. How old are you when you started?
About 5, so that's...
So similar to your sister's age. Interesting. Do you play together? When you started playing, like when did you start playing? I know you play sometimes together, but how old were you when you started playing together?
I think probably from like the beginning.
Really?
Might have played like a little bit, but...
How special that you have a sister who can play piano at the same time. Do you find that playing together brings you closer? Or do you fight? As brothers and sisters sometimes do. Or does it bring you closer?
I think it brings us closer. Yeah, we don't really fight that often.
What brings you closer doing music together?
It just feels like something like we don't see each other that much, so it's nice to be able to spend time with each other.
Is it something that you enjoy, who chooses the music? Who chooses the pieces that you will play together? Is it you or is it your teachers usually do?
It's usually teachers.
The
but
teachers.
yeah.
The teachers. How do you feel in terms of learning to appreciate your instrument? Do you appreciate it more, the cello, than when you started? And what is different about the way you approach playing the cello than you were when you were just beginning?
I feel like, yeah, it's definitely grown a lot since when I first started playing. I used to always think like I didn't really get why it's like so valued and like by like a lot of people, but now I realize that like it's really valuable for like everything pretty much.
What does playing the cello help you with? What do you feel what does it add to your life?
I think it teaches you a lot of like good lessons like discipline, or it like lets you appreciate like the little details and like all work pretty much.
How do you combine music and academics?
Wait, I don't really get how like what that question means.
In terms of time, you have to do homework, you have to do prepare for exams, and like how do you find the time to practice? How do you manage your time?
Well, I'm only in 8th grade, so there's not too much work I have to do for like academically, but it's pretty easy to balance, I think.
So for you, doing homework is quick. You don't have to spend a lot of hours on this, or maybe you're just very quick in terms of doing homework. Some kids spend a lot of time on this. How much time do you spend on homework every night?
Sometimes I don't have any, so.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know people who are in high school probably have hours and hours, right? Sasha, how much time do you spend on homework?
I don't know. I do a lot of it at school. So maybe like half an hour.
That's all? Wow.
I only have half an hour.
Ian, what about you? How much time do you spend on homework?
Probably like 2 or 3 hours a night.
Wow.
But I'm stacking my schedule with APs, and that's why.
Yeah.
And how much time do you practice per day?
About an hour every day.
Oh, so
But
like
sometimes like Sasha, I do have to skip days.
What about you, Paula? How much time do you practice per day?
It like varies, but that's pretty much the same.
The same. So in 1 hour, you're able to win competitions and still play and do other things. What other things do you do besides music?
I also swim like Sasha, and then usually after school I like to go to the gym and work out, but that's it pretty much.
Okay. Ben tell us about how old you are, what grade you are, what school you go to.
Yeah, I'm a junior, so I'm 17. This year I started going to school online. So I go to Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School. So yeah, I don't really have any homework at night. So I basically just do like my schoolwork when you just have like classes in school. So yeah, usually I just practice in the morning and
How much time do you practice in the morning? And how early? What time do you wake up to practice in the morning?
I try to wake up at like 6, but I don't start practicing till like 8 or 9.
Because it's a charter school, meaning you don't go to school? You're at home?
Yeah, I'm home all day. Yeah. It can be a lot harder too, because you're at home and sometimes just to get up like motivation to do all of the work, you don't like have to go into school every day. It's just like you're just at home, and that's kind of where you'd used to go to relax and everything. So you're just there all the time now.
When did you start being homeschooled? From what grade?
It was just this year is when I started, and I'm gonna go back into the building next year.
Next year. So this was a trial, right?
Yeah.
I see. So you feel that it's not as productive as being at school in person?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
But what about music? Was it more helpful for music that you're home and can practice more hours, or not really?
Yeah, I think it was. I've been practicing like 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and
Straight through or with breaks?
it depends. Sometimes straight through.
That's
But
pretty
if it's a
impressive.
harder morning, then
That's pretty
like
impressive.
hours increments.
So is it 2 to 3 hours a day that you practice, or you practice some? You said in the morning, or you practice at night?
Yeah,
as well?
that's in the morning, and then I do my schoolwork. Usually takes like 2 to 3 hours, and I start that at like 1. And then if I don't have anything in the evening, I try to practice a lot. So it could be like another hour to like 4 or something.
You mean how many hours a day? You mean 1 to 4 hours as a second part of the day?
Yeah, so like
That's
3 to
amazing.
6.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's incredible. But congratulations, because you just won a Tri-County competition,
Yeah.
senior division, and this is one of the most difficult competitions in the state of New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. And some of the top students come to play there. So you see, all of the hard work that you've been putting in paid off. But if you would go back to the building, you might not have all of those hours, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to practice like in the building next year for like half of the school day. So,
So tell me,
that can happen.
what is the difference between, how old were you when you started playing the piano?
I was 8. I had just turned 8, yeah.
And now you're 17, right?
Yeah.
17. And so what is the progression from the time you started to the time now? And obviously, like, what happened to you in the process of learning music?
Well, when I started, I think my parents, they weren't too like, they didn't play instruments or anything, or weren't in classical music really too much. They went to concerts every now and then, but they weren't too familiar with it. So they started it mostly as just like an activity for me to do. And I didn't really start like really classical music until I was 10 to 12 maybe.
How did you discover then classical music that ended up with you practicing most of the day?
Well, my parents for Christmas one year got me a book of Beethoven sonatas, and I started playing one of them, and then decided I wanted to like get more serious with it. So I went to study with a professor at Westchester, and I was there for 4 years, I think. And during that time, it was, I guess, playing harder and harder music was just like, I liked the challenge of it, and I liked the emotional release I got from it. So that's a big part of why I still play.
I love what you just said about emotional release. I'm sure all of you feels this, right? This is like the most important part of playing an instrument, because first you're learning the notes, like you said, it's method books, and then all of a sudden you discover that you're playing pieces that were written by very gifted people, and they express their emotions, and those emotions could be total variety of human emotions. And once you get to that level where you can emotionally connect to the sounds, emotionally connect to the expressions, this is what probably prompts young people to start loving. But it's difficult. Is it difficult for you to practice so many hours?
Yeah, it definitely is sometimes. And
But you push yourself, right? Your parents
Yeah.
don't know anything about music, as you said, right? They don't really. Did they ever force you?
no, it's always been pretty much my choice. And I think they didn't really want to force me into something. They kind of wanted to let me do my own thing more, and I ended up really connecting with the musical part.
Do you have favorite composers?
Yeah, I really love Chopin and Rachmaninoff. Chopin's probably my favorite though.
You know, it does change over the years. You
Yeah.
love different composers. But now at this concert on Sunday, June 4th, Ben will play Beethoven Concerto, third movement, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. It's full of energy. And I'm really looking forward to hearing you. And last thing before we go to our youngest contestant, Yoni, what do you think you would like to do? You have one more year in high school, and then you'll be going to college. What are your plans?
Well, I'd like to major in piano performance, and probably after college, teach some and perform as much as I can.
So you see yourself as a person who was born a musician, right?
Yeah, and I really love performing and feel like a connection with the audience.
Right. Well, Tri-County competition proved that you are. And I'm really looking forward to this. And now let's switch to Yoni. Can we put back the microphone? And Yoni, tell us how old you are, what grade you're in, what school you go to, and how old were when you started playing, and did anybody force you? And do you still need to be forced, or if you were, and how did it change from the beginning to the point? Because right now, in fact, Yoni was chosen for the concerto competition by the first violinist of Philadelphia Orchestra, one of our string judges. Elena Kalendarova loved Yoni's playing, and she loved Apollo's playing. Apollo will be playing cello, the Elgar Concerto, and Yoni, you can tell us the piece you're going to be playing, Akalai. So what happened between when you started to now? So tell us.
So I'm 11 years old. I started playing when I was 6 years old.
What school do you go to?
I go to Mainland Classical Academy. It's a relatively new school. It's probably like 8 years old right now. So my dad, like, sometimes when I don't practice as much as I should, my dad, like, pushes me to practice, and sometimes if I don't practice, he doesn't allow me to go to like my soccer game.
Really? But why do you think he does that? Do you
Well,
what do you tell yourself when he doesn't let you go to soccer game and he wants you to practice?
Well, I really enjoy playing, but not practicing. but sometimes I tell myself that when I practice, it means I can play better. So
I think that's a good thing that you tell yourself, right?
So that pushes me sometimes.
When you achieve something, like right now you won a competition, it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah. Actually, so the day that we got the information, we were actually heading to a Philadelphia Orchestra performance, and the judge, she was like, "Are you Yanni Gardenberg?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she was like,
She recognized
"Congratulations."
you.
Yeah.
This is very special.
I'm like, "I'm famous now."
You are. And it's always what is very special. Teachers, judges, they're human beings, and they have likes and their own likes and their own emotions, and sometimes students touch them. So whenever you perform, and when you will be performing in your solo recital and your June 4th concerto competition concert, it's really about how you emotionally connect to the piece. What does it make you feel? And expressing it and making sure that you're not thinking about the audience, that you're thinking what music, how did the composer feel when he was playing? What do you think about the future? Do you think that you would want to continue with classical music in a long term?
Well, I'm definitely going to continue playing the violin through college.
This is good. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy playing the violin. But I think I'll be like, I think I'll be like teaching. I don't think I'll have like a teacher. I think I'll just practice by myself without a teacher. I mean, I'll probably be too old for a teacher like that.
But you think that you enjoy this? This will be continuous part of your life.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Let's ask Ian. What is Ian going to do? Let's go through. What do you think? Do you want to have music in your life, and what do you think it will mean to you in the future?
So, for me, I think music is, again, like a way to express myself. And even though I won't be majoring in music, I'd still like to keep music around. Like, for example, when I go to college, and I go to Boston University next year.
Congratulations. It's a wonderful city, and it's a very good university.
So, even like, for example, if I'm like free, or if I don't really have that much work to do, I might just like find a piano and play it, even if it's like a public piano or a practice room or somewhere like that. I might just like play for fun, but I might also practice some pieces as well.
Who is your favorite composer?
That's obviously Beethoven.
Obviously. Yoni, who is your favorite composer?
I have a tie between Beethoven and Tchaikovsky.
Okay, I like both of the composers. Can you pass this to Sasha? Sasha, what are you going to do when you will go, let's say, will you do music in the future? When you go to college, let's say.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure. I don't think I'm going to major in music, but I definitely want to continue it. I think that the best way that I want to continue doing music is playing chamber music. I think hopefully like some of my friends in college will also play instruments and we can just do chamber music together for fun.
A cute story. My mother, Nelly Berman, who started the Nelly Berman School, one of her students was a lovely, wonderful pianist. And at that time, my mother did not have the school, but she wanted her students to play with the chamber music. So she actually found a violin teacher so that her student could play with this violin student. And they were amazingly good together. They played throughout high school. Then they parted in college, and after college they met and they got married. And then he became the concertmaster of Cincinnati Orchestra. So you never know in life who life brings us, but I know that you and your brother love to play chamber music together. Okay, and let's pass this to Apollo. Apollo, tell us, let's ask Apollo, what do you think? Apollo. He has the, yes, that's right, I forgot. Apollo, do you have friends besides Sasha with whom you do music, who play music, let's say?
Yeah, I think I have a few friends that also play with me, but I made a lot of friends. I do the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra.
This is incredible, yes.
Yeah, and I've made a lot of friends there that also play music.
Do you feel that you're competing with them when you're playing? Like, is there a sense of competition? Let's say if you're a swimmer, you always compete against somebody else, right? You cannot just swim and leisurely and enjoy yourself, right? You always, do you have a sense that you would like to win in music? Yes.
Yeah.
So you're competitive.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben, your would be the last question for you. Do you feel that you're competitive? Or do you think that you're doing music for yourself and you don't need competition?
I think a little bit of both. I think the main idea of music is kind of to do it for yourself, and to do it for the people you're playing for. And competitions are a great way to build a career, but I don't think they're should be all you're worried about and like the main idea of why you're playing.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting with all of you, and I hope you will come and hear this very special young people who love classical music perform Concerto Competition winners with Ambler Symphony Orchestra on Sunday, June 4th at 6:30, the Church of the Redeemer. And we have this incredible young people in our community. Watch out for them. And I'm very inspired by them, and I hope you will be inspired by them as well. Thank you.